Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're exploring a seriously fascinating concept drawn straight from our source material on retail dynamics, the alchemy of order getting. Research consistently shows that customers form a lasting impression of a retail space within the first 7 seconds of walking through the door. Literally, 7 seconds. Before they even touch a single product, they're already judging the vibe, the layout, and, absolutely crucially, the energy of the people working there. If you've ever stepped onto a retail floor, you've definitely felt that immediate difference between an environment that just exists and one that actively engages you. Well, that difference doesn't just happen by accident. We're going to break down exactly how specific intentional shifts in customer engagement directly determine a store's revenue. We're talking about taking a mere transaction and completely transforming it into a high-value relationship.
Okay, let's dive into this. Our source material hits us with a pretty direct, challenging question right out of the gate. Are your floor staff merely order takers or true order getters? Just really think about that for a second. In the world of personal selling, we're not just talking about a minor difference in HR job titles here. This distinction absolutely dictates your revenue. I mean, we've all been there, right? You walk into a store, look around for some help, and you feel like an absolute bother to the staff just standing behind the register. That feeling right there, that is textbook order taking. And it really forces us to look closely at the true nature of our frontline teams. When a customer walks through those doors, who exactly are they meeting? Someone just waiting around for a transaction to happen, or someone actively creating it?
And this brilliantly illustrates the contrast. Picture walking into a huge, typical big box electronics store. On one side of the floor, you've got the passive order taker. You'll usually spot them firmly planted behind a counter, basically using it as a shield. Their whole day is just handling routine clerical tasks. They rely entirely on the store's self-service layout to do all the heavy lifting. They're basically just waiting for you to wander the aisles, figure out what you want, and bring it to the register to be rung up. Now pan over to the other side of the store. Here we have the order getter. This person proactively transforms the entire floor. Instead of hiding, they're out there in the aisles, approaching customers with a warm, confident smile. The energy is just completely different. They aren't waiting for the customer to do the work. One is completely passive, the other is dynamic and highly strategic.
Now, to actually empower these order getters, there's a fundamental rule they follow. Skip the outdated, rigid, canned presentation. True order getters completely toss out those old, inflexible selling scripts. Let's be real here. If customers just wanted a feature list recited to them word for word, they would have stayed home and read the website, or just asked a chatbot for the specs, right? They came to the store for a human experience. If an employee is just reciting a memorized pitch, they aren't engaging at all, they're just broadcasting. And customers, they instantly tune out those robotic, insincere scripts. To truly connect, the interaction has to be dynamic. The employee needs to be present in the moment, ready to adapt to the actual human standing right in front of them, instead of falling back on a one-size-fits-all monologue.
So the crucial point is, if they aren't using a canned pitch, what are they doing instead? Well, they use what's called the needs satisfaction approach. This is all about shifting the focus away from blindly pitching products and moving toward actually diagnosing and solving the customer's unique problems. The order getter asks really targeted, intelligent questions to uncover exactly what you need. It's like an active investigation. And once they've identified that specific problem, bam, they offer a tailored product solution. They're connecting the dots, proving they're there to help, not just to make a quick buck. This is absolutely crucial right now because today's consumer is already overwhelmed with choices. They don't need another sales pitch thrown at their head. They need a trusted consultant who can cut through the noise and guide them to the right decision.
Let's move to and see how this builds into a beautifully structured process during a successful high-value transaction. Think of it as a smooth, natural conversation rather than a forced, awkward sales funnel. It kicks off with step 1, the greeting. This is that warm, disarming approach we talked about earlier that instantly makes the buyer feel welcome. That naturally flows right into step 2, need identification. This is where the order getter might ask about, say, a specific weekend project the customer is tackling. Once that unique need is crystal clear, we slide into step 3, the demonstration. Here, the exact tool or solution is presented and proven to work for their specific situation. Finally, we hit step 4, the closing. Because those first 3 steps were handled with such empathy and personalization, the closing effortlessly wraps up the interaction. It's just the logical next step, completely avoiding that high-pressure hurdle that makes everyone sweat.
Now, we definitely have to confront the economic reality of this strategy. We have to acknowledge that personal selling, meaning employing true order getters, carries a higher per-customer cost. It absolutely requires more training, more time on the floor, and continuous effort from your staff. But you have to look at the ultimate rewards here. First off, it commands absolute customer attention.
In a world totally full of smartphone distractions, having a customer's undivided attention is like striking gold. And even better, it unlocks massive cross-selling opportunities. Here's a fascinating retail reality. Items sold through strategic cross-selling frequently carry way higher profit margins than the primary purchase itself. Because the order getter actually understands the customer's broader needs through that active investigation, they can naturally recommend those high-margin complementary items. It maximizes the value of every single interaction without ever coming across as pushy. Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. We are left with a pretty critical choice. Is your store relying on self-service to do the heavy lifting, or are you empowering true order getters to unlock massive cross-selling opportunities? It ultimately boils down to passively accepting whoever happens to wander up to the register versus active, strategic engagement that maximizes your revenue potential with every single person walking through the door. Are you willing to make that investment to turn your floor staff into true alchemists of engagement? Just think about how your frontline operates today and what it could look like tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining me, and I really hope this explainer leaves you with some powerful, game-changing ideas for your own customer engagement strategy.